In nature, results don't come from a single moment, but from how distance and timing are controlled. Confrontations don't begin with speed, but with observation, patience, and waiting for the right opportunity. Every small deviation in reaction can change the entire course of events in seconds. And when the decisive moment arrives, the outcome is almost predetermined. When faced with pressure in the wild, African buffalo maintain their position at close range. Their bodies, which can exceed 1,500 pounds, help them absorb force and maintain balance. Their thick shoulders and strong neck allow them to turn without losing control. This stability forces any threat to be cautious, and thus a calculated approach phase begins to form. The safe space begins to shrink as an individual moves purposefully closer. The distance shortens. The lion accelerates briefly and closes in on its target. When close enough, it latches onto the prey and enters a holding phase. The buffalo reacts immediately, kicking and turning repeatedly to break the hold. The pressure builds as the initial approach phase doesn't end quickly. The buffalo remains standing, prolonging the time. The herd advances, creating counter-pressure. The lion had to adjust and temporarily retreat, but there wasn't enough time. The buffalo collapsed before any support could change the outcome. From the entire process, the situation was shaped by how each side prolonged or broke the confrontation. One side relied on persistent holding and individual strength. The other relied on endurance and herd support. When time ran out, support was no longer possible to reverse the already established outcome.
Fighting.
At the edge of their territory, a pack of wild dogs maintains distance and moves in groups. The hunting instincts of wild dogs rely on coordination and a clear division of roles among individuals. They take turns participating, maintaining the rhythm of the chase and constantly supporting each other. However, when there are young, the level of vigilance is uneven, and this creates an opportunity for an outside approach. The stability is broken when a rapid movement appears from the edge of the territory. The distance is shortened in a very short time. The lion rushes in at high speed without warning and chooses the weakest individual in the pack's territory. When it gets close enough, it latches on to control the target from the outset.
Fighting.
The decisive moment arrived when the lion realized it no longer controlled the distance. The lion retreated toward the shore, and the gap widened. On land, the lion still had a chance. In the water, the hippo maintained almost absolute control. The crucial point lay in the shift from land to water. In that change, the lion realized it was in the wrong environment and the balance of power was gone. This case illustrates that the outcome depends on the timing of the approach. One side used speed and surprise to gain an advantage from the start. The other relied on cooperation, but this was not sustained when gaps appeared. When a successful approach is made quickly, the outcome is determined rapidly. In a quiet space, A pack of hyenas maintains distance and observes. They adjust their position according to the pack's signals and are ready to retaliate at the slightest disturbance. This steady rhythm of movement helps maintain the bond between individuals. This mechanism forces any approach to be cautious, and thus a calculated stalking phase begins to form. This stability is broken when an accelerated movement cuts across the maintained distance. The distance shortens rapidly. The lions pounce unexpectedly, choosing the weaker individual and clinging with the goal of ending the fight quickly. In the initial moment, the captured individual reacts with limited force. Soon after, the reactions from the other individuals occur almost simultaneously. They turn, surround, and move in circles, applying pressure from multiple directions. The continuous harassment weakens the hold. The lions are subjected to multi-directional pressure, lose their position, and are forced to release their target, then retreat. This development illustrates the clear difference between individual pressure and coordinated group response. One side relies on bursts of speed and short-range engagement. The other relies on coordinated group action and continuous pressure. When pressure comes from multiple directions simultaneously, the initial advantage quickly disappears. In areas with dense foliage, leopards move low and maintain distance when approaching. Their hunting instincts rely on short bursts of speed and precise timing. Each step is controlled to minimize detection. However, moving into unfamiliar territory can lead them into lion territory, creating a risk of confrontation. Distance begins to spiral out of control as the leopard ventures deeper into the area. Lions detect them almost immediately and charge at high speed. Multiple individuals approach simultaneously, splitting in direction to create pressure from multiple sides. The distance narrows rapidly, forcing the leopard to react in a very short time. Pressure increases as multiple approaches are established at the same time. The leopard is cornered and unable to climb to a higher position. Attacks are concentrated on the neck and back, forcing it to retreat injured, even after escaping. The risk persists due to injuries that impair mobility. This situation is determined by the moment one's position is exposed within the lion's territory. Leopards rely on speed and precise approach. Lions rely on numbers and quick reflexes within their territory. Once detected in this area, the chances of maintaining an advantage are almost non-existent. In areas with low vegetation, the python remains immobile and blends into its surroundings. Its predatory instinct relies on ambush and close-range reactions. The bite is used to establish contact and quickly transitions to forming a constricting loop. The distance is shortened as the leopard approaches and chooses the right angle. Upon impact, the python delivers a bite and begins to coil its body to constrict. The leopard reacts immediately by biting, scratching, and twisting to break free from the constriction. The outcome is decided in the first few seconds before the constriction is complete. The leopard creates space and escapes before being completely immobilized. It then counterattacks, preventing the python from constricting a second time. An impala maintains a steady pace in open areas and constantly observes its surroundings. Its survival instinct relies on quick reactions, sudden changes of direction, and maintaining distance from potential threats. It doesn't stand still for too long and is always ready to accelerate upon detecting any unusual signs. However, when the distance narrows unnoticed, danger begins to build. The leopard remains completely still within its cover and restricts all movement. It controls its breathing, keeps its gaze fixed, and waits for the target to approach. When an impala crosses its safe zone, the leopard lunges out with high acceleration over a short distance. The short distance doesn't give the prey enough time to react, and the approach phase occurs almost instantaneously. The outcome is determined in seconds, as the impala doesn't have time to adjust its initial direction. The leopard maintains its approach distance and controls the target from the very beginning. The deciding factor isn't top speed, but the initial distance. When the prey gets too close without realizing the danger, the outcome is practically predetermined. A jaguar moves slowly and discreetly in an area with limited visibility. Its hunting instincts rely on ambushes, short bursts of speed, and precise timing. It maintains distance and avoids revealing its position before acting at close range. However, when two individuals appear in the same space, the likelihood of encounter increases, and a confrontation gradually develops. After identification, both move to close-range direct contact. The distance is rapidly reduced when one individual takes the initiative to advance. The two lunge briefly to test each other's reaction. Attacks are brief, consisting of bites and pushes, then quickly cease. The level of contact decreases when one individual takes the initiative to retreat. It creates distance and does not continue to maintain pressure. The other individual maintains its position and does not pursue, avoiding unnecessary risk. The confrontation ends when both stop escalating the pressure. The outcome is determined by the timing of one side's cessation. Both are ambush predators capable of inflicting damage at close range. When there is no clear advantage, refraining from further attack helps limit losses. This is a confrontation based on risk assessment and choosing the right moment to stop. No species always holds the advantage in every situation, and each confrontation depends on the specific context. Distance, timing, and initial reaction determine the course of the entire event. Strength is only effective when used at the right time and under the right conditions. And in nature, the outcome is always predetermined before the final moment occurs. Lion hunts are short-lived. They begin silently and strike as soon as the distance closes. Each rapid approach turns into a high-speed, close-range assault, giving prey no time to adjust. The first moment of contact completely disrupts the prey's movement and changes the course of events in seconds. And from that very moment, the entire chain of survival unfolds. In the water's edge, hippos maintain their position using their large bodies and react directly to intrusion. Their weight of over 3,000 pounds helps them maintain stability on the wet surface. They monitor movement near the water's edge and adjust their distance in short strides. When pressure appears at close range, their state quickly shifts to defensive. From that observational rhythm, a lion begins to close the distance from behind, keeping its body low and moving steadily. It doesn't rush to accelerate, but approaches step by step to maintain a controlled distance. When the right moment arises, it quickly closes in on the neck. The transition from approaching to closing in is almost instantaneous. The hippo reacts, but loses its stability when it veers off course on the slippery bank. The distance is broken, and its direction of movement is no longer maintained. The lion maintains pressure and doesn't allow any gaps to appear. The state clearly changes when the initial stability is gone. From that sequence of events, the deciding factor lies in the loss of control over direction in the opening seconds. The lion maintains pressure at the right time to retain its advantage. The hippo relies on position and distance, so when these two factors are disrupted, its advantage diminishes. Once instability sets in, the outcome is determined very quickly. From the start of their movement, cheetahs maintain distance through speed and agile direction. Their light bodies allow them to accelerate quickly over short distances to avoid pressure. They constantly observe and adjust their direction to maintain their advantage, but when their speed is no longer consistent, the distance gradually narrows. A lion begins stalking from behind, moving low and maintaining distance. It waits for the right moment, then accelerates to close in. As the distance narrows, another lion enters, increasing pressure from multiple directions. The situation quickly shifts to a direct chase. The cheetah slows down due to injury and cannot maintain its pace. The lion approaches and does not give the opponent any space. With no chance of escape, the situation ends after a short chase. The speed advantage is gone, and the outcome is clear. In this case, the decisive factor is the decline in physical fitness, breaking the survival mechanism. Lions target weaker individuals to reduce risk and control the situation. Cheetahs rely on speed, so when they lose this advantage, their ability to maintain distance is gone. When conditions change, the situation changes too. On open ground, elephants maintain their defensive instincts through size and the ability to hold a stable position. Their bodies, weighing over 10,000 pounds, and their thick hides help them reduce the impact of initial approaches. They always maintain a position facing the threat and adjust their stance gradually to avoid leaving any gaps. As pressure increases, this ability to maintain position begins to be challenged from multiple directions. A group of lions moves low and spreads their approach around the target. They don't attack immediately, but constantly change positions to find a suitable vantage point. Initial approaches are not very effective. They then adjust their tactics and focus on more accessible areas. The pressure is maintained continuously for a short period. The young elephant cannot maintain distance and reacts more slowly to the approaches. The lions take advantage of the gaps to get closer and maintain control. The situation changes as the weakened position becomes apparent. After successive approaches and adjustments, the deciding factor lies in the ability to adapt to the opponent's reaction. Lions change their approach when the initial plan proves ineffective. Elephants rely on size to maintain their position, but smaller individuals are more likely to lose their advantage. When an opening appears, the course of events becomes clearly defined. In open areas, African wild dogs maintain formation and constant observation during movement. They rely on sound and positional cues to maintain stable coordination. Speed and stamina allow them to control space for extended periods. When pressure arises at close range, their reaction is quick but depends on the individual's experience. A lion spots a target at close range and immediately shifts its stance. It advances, closing the distance in a few steps and accelerating once within range. There is no prolonged chase phase, only rapid approach and direct engagement. The situation changes in the very first moment. The young dog doesn't have time to adjust its position and loses its safe distance. The lion closes in and forces the opponent to stop. When another lion appears, the first individual leaves its position to avoid internal conflict. The pressure is not sustained for long, and the situation ends quickly. From that brief approach, the deciding factor emerges when distance is completely controlled. Lions seize the moment to gain dominance in the area. Wild dogs rely on groups, but inexperienced individuals struggle to maintain their position. When the course of events changes in the first few seconds, the outcome is also determined shortly thereafter. On the vast grasslands, zebras rely on group movement for safety. Individuals take turns observing and maintaining distance from their surroundings. Their sprinting speed allows them to react quickly to danger. But when vigilance is momentarily reduced, the safe distance is easily broken. From a hidden position, a lioness lies low and keeps her body almost motionless. She silently watches her target and waits for the right moment. When the zebra enters close range, she accelerates immediately and approaches directly. At the same time, another individual moves from the side to narrow the escape route. The zebra reacts by accelerating, but the approach from the blind spot disrupts the running rhythm. The distance is no longer maintained, and the direction of movement begins to deviate. Pressure increases rapidly as the two approaches coordinate simultaneously. The ability to maintain speed decreases significantly after the first collision. From that perspective, the decisive factor lies in the initial approach and the timing of the coordination. Lions exploit the element of surprise to disrupt the prey's rhythm. When the escape route is narrowed, pressure is maintained continuously. When the prey loses its balance in the first few seconds, the outcome is determined very quickly. In a competitive environment, hyenas maintain a very clear instinct for group coordination. They maintain distance, observe, and react based on signals from the entire pack. When an individual is under pressure, others quickly adjust their positions to provide support. This ability to reorganize instantly forms the basis for the subsequent response. As the hyena pack focuses on prey and maintains formation, a lion begins to approach from behind. It moves low and closes the distance before closing in. The surprise attack forces one hyena to break away from the group. In that moment, the situation becomes tense. The hyena pack initially disperses, then quickly returns and forms the encirclement. They maintain distance and increase pressure in short bursts. The lion loses its individual advantage and does not continue to close in. The affected individual takes advantage of the opening to leave the area. From initial reaction to reorganization, the deciding factor lies in the coordination of the entire group. Hyenas don't abandon their teammates and maintain controlled pressure. Lions are forced to stop when there is no longer any safe space. When the group maintains its rhythm, the situation is shaped in their favor. In the animal world, giraffes maintain distance thanks to their height and wide field of vision. They monitor surrounding movements and adjust their position step by step to maintain their advantage. When their heads are lowered to forage, their vision and reflexes decrease, opening up opportunities for simultaneous approaches from multiple directions. From that observational state, a group of lions begins to close the distance, moving low and maintaining a steady rhythm. They don't rush to approach directly, but split up to limit escape routes. When the target lowers its head, the distance narrows rapidly. Individuals move closer at the same time. The giraffe reacts strongly, but doesn't have time to restore the distance. Pressure from multiple directions reduces its ability to maintain a stable position. The lions maintain close proximity and don't allow any gaps to appear. The situation changes rapidly when the vulnerable state persists. From this sequence of events, the deciding factor lies in when the target is in a disadvantageous position. Lions seize the moment to control distance and maintain pressure. Giraffes rely on vision and distance, so when these factors diminish, their advantage diminishes. When opportunities arise in a short time, the outcome is determined very quickly. Through each situation, the lion doesn't rely on sheer strength alone, but on timing and approach to gain an advantage. Each attack is shaped in the initial seconds when distance is controlled and the rhythm of movement is disrupted. When conditions change, the outcome changes in a very clear way. If you want to follow more similar survival stories, you can continue to follow the channel in the following parts.